Okay, we're here with Dan Kneece at the 2015 Band Pro Open House. Dan, thanks again for sitting down with us, talking at our annual conversation.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. It's always good to see you.
Appreciate it.
It's always good to see you, and always good to have a little conversation about what we've been doing.
So here we are. How was 2015 for you? What'd you work on, and can you tell us a little about it?
Well, 2015's been very, very good for me. I shot a film in New Orleans, but before that, I was with Band Pro at NAB in their booth, and did a lovely demo at the Band Pro booth. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we shot this film in New Orleans called Confidential.
So what was that film about?
Confidential is about a woman and her psychiatrist, and her psychiatrist tries to help her overcome a traumatic event in her life. And during the course of this, the woman has feelings for her psychiatrist, who is Jill Hennessy, and Kate Gray plays the woman.
Okay.
So it's one lady having an affection for another.
Can't wait for to check it out.
Yes.
What did you guys shoot that on, and can you tell us a little bit about the production?
Well, I shot at Canon C500, recorded at an Odyssey 7Q recorder in 12-bit 2K, RGB files, RGB DPX files. Okay. So it was totally uncompressed, coming out of the back of the C500 into the Odyssey 7Q. And it worked flawlessly. It was a great system. I took that system and mounted it in a fig rig, and so I had a fig rig with a C500, an Odyssey 7Q mounted on a mini Cardellini clamp for my viewfinder and recorder, Preston wireless focus, Teradek transmitter, and a wireless audio link to come into the camera. So we had a scratch track.
And you guys shot this down in New Orleans?
Yes, down in New Orleans. Oh my goodness, I think we shot, it was almost a month, I think.
Okay.
And it went really well. I mean, that combination, the great thing about the fig rig is you can take the camera, you can move in Steadicam type moves, but you can go all the way from the floor to up over your head, all in one continuous motion, but it still has that handheld shake to it. So it looks it looks handheld, but it moves like a Steadicam.
So obviously a whole bunch of new gear was dropped this year. Very exciting year for cameras, lenses, you name it. This year, anything really kind of popped to mind that you're excited about using going forward?
The monochrome digital Bolex. I've always wanted a monochrome camera, and the digital Bolex makes one that looks quite good. It's 2K, and it's uncompressed. It only does uncompressed.
Right.
It does 2K. You can do 1920 by 1080 with it if you want to. It takes 16 millimeter lenses, so any lens for a 16 millimeter format camera works. Mine has a PL mount on it, and I use Zeiss Super Speeds.
Okay.
And they look great.
Any other technologies this year? I mean, we were talking with Tim from Canon a few minutes ago. They've got this new camera that sees in the dark.
Yeah, the 405 million ISO camera.
Right.
MA20SH, something along those lines.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that camera. I've seen tests of it where a guy's lit. His Keylight is a stick of incense.
Which doesn't emit a lot of light.
No,
yes.
And that's his Keylight.
Wow.
I'm very excited to play with that camera. It's 1920 by 1080 full, 35 millimeter still camera size chip, but the pixels are 9 times larger than the average pixel on any other camera right now. So it really is exciting.
And you might get a chance to use this in the coming
I'm
months?
hopeful, yeah. I would love to shoot something with that. I think that's the kind of camera that would really be useful for a lot of things.
What other activities are you involved with, in the industry now? Like, what's keeping you busy? We're on, a few weeks from now, we're going to be starting a new year, and what kind of projects are you working on?
I keep getting a lot of threats of work.
Right.
So, there's several projects on the burner right now.
Right.
And so I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with those. And I'm very excited because they all are kind of interesting projects. So it would be cool, and depending upon which cameras I'd get to shoot with.
Right.
I mean, I love the Canons, of course, the Arri Alexas, my little digital Bolex. I'm enamored with that thing. That is, and I've seen the color ones too. The color ones look quite good, but they have more of a Kodachrome type feel with very rich colors. As they're CCD, they're not CMOS, they're CCDs.
Okay.
The color ones and the black and white ones, and the color ones they order several CCDs at once. But the monochrome cameras are built one-off, and so when they get an order for a monochrome camera, they buy that CCD from Kodak, and then that camera gets a special sensor.
So it's like the optimal camera for shooting black and white these days.
It's
one of them.
Yeah, I think it probably, in my eyes, it is, because it's reasonably priced.
Yep.
The quality is extremely good.
Right.
And it's very small and rugged. You know, mine has a built-in 1 terabyte drive, so you can record quite a bit of time on a 1 terabyte enterprise class SSD in the camera. So, and Hot Rod Cameras, Ilya Friedman over at Hot Rod Cameras made the PL mount for it, and his work is always stunning. I mean, for PL mounts, Ilya's the guy, you know.
Yeah.
And or for other mounts too, but I mean, he just does such a great job. I met Ilya when he was at DALSA.
Oh, okay.
And he worked at DALSA, and then we've been friends ever since.
So really quickly, just because sometimes people are new at the website, they may not have watched the video from 2 years ago or last year. Can you just give us a 30 seconds on some of the things you've been involved with I think this is your, what year in the industry? Not to...
wow, that's 36th year. Yeah, 30, well, come January, 37th year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of things for David Lynch: Blue Velvet, Wild at Heart, Twin Peaks, Firewalk with Me, Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive. We're putting Tarantino, Jackie Brown, and Grindhouse, the Death Proof segment of Grindhouse.
Yeah.
For Joel Schumacher, number 23, and Phone Booth. For, I did some on Days of Thunder. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. And there's this great upcoming movie that I'm going to do about a story, a Hollywood story about this guy who has a script, and he tries everywhere to get it made, and he finally gets it made by some special hook or crook. So that's something that you guys should definitely look out for when it comes. And so, yeah, the 2016 is going to be very bright.
So you also worked with Wes Craven, who unfortunately just passed away a couple months ago. What films do you work on? Can you tell us a little bit about that? The
first movie I did with Wes was The People Under the Stairs, and we shot that at Renmar Studios here in Hollywood. And then I did a movie called Scream with Wes. And Scream, the whole opening sequence of Scream with Drew Barrymore popping the popcorn and talking on the phone, we shot that with the Steadicam. And Wes saw the dailies, and he said it's the best first day's dailies he'd ever had. And he was a lovely man, and it was an incredible thing to be involved with. For 10 years after we made that movie, every time they'd talk about horror movies on television, they would show that scene.
Yeah.
And I'd look on television, I'd say, there it is again, you know, and it just kept going on and on and on. That was probably one of the most viewed shots that I've ever done.
Yeah. Do you remember what you shot on? What camera?
It was 35 millimeter. The cameras were from Claremont.
Okay.
And they were Denny Claremont's Anamorphics.
Also, Dan, you co-founded the Steadicam Guild, is that correct?
Yes, with David Allen Grove.
Okay.
And that is, we wanted a place where the Steadicam operators could come together, away from agents and away from all the competitiveness, and just be Steadicam operators and be comrades like we were when we first started out.
Yeah.
I mean, when I started doing Steadicam in 1982, when Garrett Brown taught me, you could count all the operators on two hands. It was that long ago, and there were only just a few of us.
Yeah.
And then we got to be more and more, and then 15 years ago, agents got involved, and then they got to be competition. I mean, we used to never even have to have reels. And then the agents got involved, and they said, oh, well, we got to have reels, and you got to pass this around, and you're going to be competitive with each other, and it kind of pulled some of the camaraderie out of it. So we started the Steadicam Guild to bring everyone together. And now, if somebody comes in with a job and they're looking for operators, we'll do email blast through the Steadicam Guild and help people find operators if they don't know somebody and to fit their project. And it's quite a lovely situation.
And where's the best place for people interested in learning how to operate Steadicam in the right way? Like, where do people go these days?
Then you go to a Steadicam Workshop. Either you go to Garrett Brown's workshop in Philadelphia through the Steadicam Operators Association.
Okay.
SteadicamOps.com, I think it is.
Okay.
Just look up the Steadicam Operators Association, you can find that.
Okay.
Or through Tiffin. And I think it's www.steadicamworkshops.com.
So where can everyone find you online? I know you're busy online, Facebook and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm pretty active in stirring the pot on Facebook. So if you come from my Facebook page, you'll probably be incensed at some point, but that's by design. Yeah. And or www.dankneece.com, DANKNEECE.com.
Okay. Well, we really appreciate Dan sitting down with us and having a great discussion, and can't wait to talk with him again, if not next December, before. Thanks, Dan.
All right. Great
appreciate
to see
it.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.